It's affecting its members. Here's the National Vice Chairman of the Ghana National Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association, Sunday Alabi, when he was speaking to Joy News about the issue.
LPG filling stations, some LPG filling stations which has been banned, reopened. Yes, NPA refused to ban to reopen the filling station from 2017 due to Atomic Junction incident. Even though if one driver has mistakenly tampered with the sale, why should we ban the whole company? If the transporter is having about 50 trucks or 100 trucks, you go up banning the company for the whole month.
And speaking on Newsnight last night, PRO of the National Petroleum Authority emphasized that the impact of this strike is going to be very dire on consumers. Hence, they would work with them to ensure that the issues are resolved.
The impact is going to be dire if it is not arrested as soon as possible. And that is why I said that my chief executive, Dr. Sheikh Mustafa Hamid, and the minister have actually taken very keen interest in trying to get a quicker solution to it, because it is not just about the LPG Tanker Drivers Association that have gone on strike. The LPG MCs have equally solidarized with them by shutting down and not actually delivering at the pumps. And obviously, if it is not arrested as soon as possible, it would have a certain cascading effect on all of us, both at domestic and industrial. And that is why we are trying so hard to bring all parties to the table so we can have a discussion and get a resolution that would be for the good of everybody.
So there you have it. Well, yesterday, some of you, when I checked, I realized that some of the, retailer outlets were closed. Others were also functioning. So the question is, what's the situation today and how is it impacting you? That's what I want you to tell us here on the Super Morning Show. So why don't you join us on Twitter? Use the hashtag JoySMS. I'd love to know how that is impacting you. Did you try, buying gas yesterday? What was the experience? Share it with us. This morning we'll be joined by the LPG Marketers Association. You would also hear from the tanker drivers. They've raised lots of issues. We'll get into detail and also speak to the National Petroleum Authority, because they accuse them that even when they take a break after driving for 4 hours, the NPA says they're diverting fuel and that's punishing them. And based on all of these, they have decided to embark on the strike action. What we'll also share with you this morning is even how LPG consumption in itself is reducing over the period.
Right.
LPG consumption is reducing over the period. And so that in itself is an issue.
And that has to do with the cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we get into all of these. But let's get into the papers now.
Yes, and I'll start with the Daily Guide newspaper. On the front page, NPP foot soldiers cry for reshuffle. If you get into the story, there's a statement that they have issued, and just a bit of it says, the NPP is known to have the men and women, and rightly so. It cannot be the case that we have suddenly run out of human resources such that we are compelled to maintain the same old crop of appointees for 6 years. Ghanaians expect much from us, and we cannot fail them. Mr. President, there is an urgent need for a shake-up in your government. That's just a bit of the statement that they've issued as a pressure group of the ruling NPP. They are called the Alliance for Foot Soldiers Advocacy, and they're appealing to the president to reshuffle his ministers as a matter of urgency.
Well, they've raised very important concerns. But first of all, you ask yourself, why are they calling for a reshuffle? Now, you say this when they say we have the men, and so reshuffle. Is it the case that those who are currently ministers, they believe, are underperforming, hence the need to replace them with others? Osechi Mensah Bonsu made a point, when he was giving a lecture at KNUST. He says ministers are supposed to be in charge of policy. But he's seen some ministers who come to the vetting, and they tell you that what I'm going to do, I will learn when I get to the ministry. It means that even before they get to the ministry, they do not know what they are going to be implementing, or they don't know the new ideas they're taking to the ministry. So while, in one instance you can understand, these people when they say you need fresh ideas, the question also is that does the appointing authority see them as underperforming and thus warranting a reshuffle.
So that I guess that's the most important because it's the person who appoints,
Yeah.
who decides that they are not performing,
Yeah.
and who can take them off. But they are part of the reasons is that there are some ministers who have presidential ambitions, and it is known, and then there are also ministers who are non-performing. But I guess it's not really up to any group to decide if they are performing or not, since it's the president's deal, if you like. But we'll see how the president responds to this, or if there will be any response to this at all. There's also another story in the paper on page 6 about Oliver Baka Vomawo, who has been committed by an Ashaman District Court to stand trial at the High Court for the charge of treason felony preferred against him by the Attorney General. And then you remember this man, Evans Chichikuopong, the man who allegedly planned to sacrifice his own daughter for money ritual. That video went viral. He's filed an application at the High Court urging it to grant him bail pending his possible trial if he should be committed by the district courts.
Right, let's get to the graphic business for this morning. An industry wants say in IMF negotiations. Comes with a photograph of Humphrey Ayim Dake, who's president of the Association of Ghana Industries. They say they want to be part of the team that negotiates with the IMF because any form of outcome would impact what they do. And so they want a member of their association in there. Interest cost wipes off 55% of tax revenue. Inflation CD fall to blame is also on the front page. And the back page, government to save $13.2 billion from power agreements, and comes to the photograph of Energy Minister Matthew Poku Prempeh.
Let's get into the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Vice President inaugurates 100-kilometer rehabilitated Kumasi roads. Military officer dies of monkeypox in Bolga. Resolve issues surrounding LPG supply to end tanker drivers' strike. That's according to COPEC, appealing to government. And President demands apology compensation from European nation. It has to do with slave trade. There was another story about a security guard who was found dead at Choco. When I saw the headline, I thought, Choco can only be in Accra, but apparently not. This is Choco, a suburb of Wa in the Upper West region, and it's a night security guard at a drinking spot who was sadly found dead. Police still investigating this matter. That will be it, I guess, for the Ghanaian Times.
Well, let's get to the Chronicle for this morning, and Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And this is it. Beware, the sachet water you drink may contain fecal matter.
No way.
And GSS survey report reveals. Now, the Chronicle is actually talking about the fact that, that's not how I captures it, but it's early in the morning, so I had to change the weather. But the Chronicle says that a 2017 survey had established that some sachet water products sold in Ghana were contaminated with fecal matter, raising questions about the regulation of the product in Ghana. Now, we're told that per the Ghana Statistical Service data, sachet water national consumption average in Ghana has ballooned from about 7 million, that's 31% in 2010, to almost 11 million in 2021. And we're told that as high as 71% of the population of the Greater Accra was dependent on sachet water. And so they're saying, let's beware, because what we're consuming may just not be the best. Government doubles NDC road record in Ashanti region, that's according to Vice President Bamia. And Kumasi residents defecate around Rough.
But Winston, on this issue of the sachet water, you're asking us to beware. It's not like I can't see.
Exactly.
So somebody must do the work for us.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's actually someone's responsibility. And how is that entity, Food and Drugs Authority, mandated to ensure this is done? How are they testing beyond the approval? Do they go back? I know they do some of these, checks. They just get onto the market, pick them, and check them.
Right.
And what are their investigations telling them? They should be checking again. But it's time Africa received reparation for slavery. President Akufo-Addo.
The final newspaper is reporting SIM card registration centers empty following deadline extension, but NIA head office remains inundated. Japanese government donates 23 vehicles to Ghana Police Service. And WASI practical session kicks off smoothly. There's a story on page 2 about the Ghana Armed Forces personnel at the base ammunition depot in Michel Kam, arresting a middle-aged man who was in the process of breaching the perimeter fence in order to gain entry into the ammunition depot. Hey!
But you know, the WASI bit reminds me of SSE oral English. You know, and the sad aspect of oral English is that in those days when the PA systems were not the best, if you sat close to one and you had a difficulty hearing whatever they were saying, you're finished.
And I think it's said twice, right?
Well, just one. I mean,
Is it once or twice?
Once,
and that's it.
It's
Twice,
gone.
yes.
And then it's gone. I was unfortunate to have sat close to the PA system at the time. It was not the best of PA systems, but we might. So you try. If you don't hear anything, you continue. The daily graphic for this morning: fight insecurity. SECOM urges African leaders, and reparations for Africa long overdue. So. The president says reparations for Africa and the African diaspora are long overdue. Predictably, the question of reparation becomes a debate only when it comes to Africa and Africans. We believe the calls for reparations for Africa are just. President Akufo-Addo said at the opening of a 4-day summit on the theme, Advancing Justice, Reparations, and Racial Healing in Accra. Must the West compensate Africa for slavery? That is a huge question for debate. How did slavery impact Africa? Did it impact us negatively? Is it the reason we are where we are today? That's a question we must answer. Do we have access to resources that we can use to develop our country? Do we have the technical know-how that we can use to develop our countries? Well, they did not only colonize others. Yes, you may say they took away our human resources, but that's 400 years ago since it began. Almost 200 years since it ended. Must we still be referring to our dark past in order to explain our underdevelopment? I thought we believed that we had what it took to develop as a nation and as a continent. What is preventing us to do so? Mavi, let me end on this note on this issue. One of the things you would learn when you study resource perception and management is that you identify something can, satisfy some basic need or want of yours, makes it a resource. But once it becomes a resource, that's not the end of it. You have to overcome certain resistances. Part of the resistances you have to overcome is corruption.
Right.
Part of the resistances you must overcome is technical know-how. So today, Dr. Thomas Mensah, he was on Personality Profile. He talked about having a bullet train in Ghana. He talked about how the president went to him in US and he decided to come to Ghana because he has the technical know-how. So he's in Ghana today. He said he was frustrated by the previous minister, previous regime. So, in this case, how come we couldn't do it? Because the person tasked to do it was frustrated. I think we have blamed the West too much. It's time to look at ourselves. And that's why I liked the Ghana Beyond Aid. Look to yourself. Stop blaming people for your challenges.
This is like the first time in like how many months since I've heard anybody say Ghana Beyond Aid? Is that still a policy that
it is. It is.
we're pursuing?
We're pursuing that.
Okay.
But finally, Civil Service Honors Henry Quartey others, non-traditional export earnings hit $3.3 billion in 2021. Law school entrance exam, prospective students to sign undertaking, legal counsel. And Wahid and Komi reached the quarterfinals in boxing at the Commonwealth Games.
All right, the Business and Financial Times maintain commitment to expenditure and revenue measures. That's PwC saying to government, and there seem to be some good news. Ghana improves marginally on budget transparency. Good harvest could tame rising inflation, according to Data Bank. There you have it. What's on the front page of the Business and Financial Times?
Well, let me get into the statement for today. That's our final paper. Massive facelift in Kumasi, 100 kilometers of Kumasi inner city roads ready to use. Slavery reparations to Africa long overdue. And Chief Justice says ADR key in justice delivery system. And Premier League, who can challenge Man City and Liverpool in title race. Let's go to the online news review.
United, maybe. Yeah, online news review brought to you by Zenith Bank. In your best interest, Goil Good Energy. Eden Heights Luxury has a new destination and Bigo drink.
Well, Goil, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life so convenient for you. Goil now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at selected stations. Just remember to Momo it at Goil. And that's not all. You can also use your bank card to buy fuel at Goil, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to Goil stations now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo or a bank card, and you're good to go. Visit Goil social media platforms, Facebook, Goil.official, Instagram, Goil_GH, and on Twitter, Goil_official. For more information on the service stations, you can conveniently use Momo. Goil Good Energy, Goil, Yaya Dim.
And your home is more than where you lay your head. Your Eden Heights home gives you your family the best quality of life with a full-size football pitch, tennis courts, basketball courts, squash courts, swimming pools, gym, and so much more. Eden Heights is a place where you live, play, and relax. Located just 2 minutes behind the West Hills Mall. So reserve your apartment today with a flexible payment plan of up to 2 years. Book a site tour with us or call the team for more information on 050-1531-444 or 050-1531-445, or you can just visit the website. It's edenheights.com.gh. Eden Heights Luxury has a new destination.
And I have been there, and I tell you, indeed, luxury has a new day. Yeah. You should visit Eden Heights. You will love it, particularly the penthouse. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, let's get on to myjoyonline.com this morning. Mentally challenged woman stones man to death at Kwame Nkrumah Circle. CityNewsroom.com this morning. Equip NIA to take registration centers to doorstep of Ghanaians. That's Ken Ashigbe, giving that advice. And the BBC says U.S. kills Al-Qaeda leader in Afghanistan drone strike. Let's now go for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Telefonica Ghana, celebrating 20 years of legacy, and Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Krachi, my vehicles are my investment.